I know what you're doing, sir. I know what you're doing. You think if you release an album in January that was supposed to be released during No Nut November and call it November, when you know it's gonna be tracks on here, it's gonna be some tracks on here that give off that psychedelic feeling. I know what I know what you do. I already know the kind of person you are. Member of TDE in some ways, kind of like the funky male SZA. I know that's a massive reach, but I'm just putting it out there. The last project I heard from SiR was alright. It wasn't crazy. Nothing about it stood out that much to me though. Not memorable enough for me to say that this was a great project. But SiR wants to troll the music game, making an album titled November. I'm really ready to get into it. I really am. 33 minutes long, just the right length for track number 1, Gone. Shit, I might be pregnant after this.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good to go.
Okay. Fam, I'm gonna need you to relax. Literally, we're starting off the album in space. Apparently this is SiR's Cortana in a way. And she's saying shields, engine, ship pretty much is at 100%, and we're ready for liftoff. So, can I just steal the word spacey for this entire album review? I mean, it's gonna be in space, so I have an excuse now. Track number 2, That's Alright. Don't. God.
Slow dancing to Uncle Lou. I let her move how she wanna move.
Oh. Look at how relaxed he is. No, it's not.
I got the walk right. Anytime she let me hit, I tell her that she's the best.
That might be some of the truest lyrical content I've heard in a minute. As you grow older, your family starts to become less interested in helping you and more interested in just being nosy. Like, some of them, you know, more often than not, you get calls from people like, what's up? What you doing? How you been? I'm not telling you shit. Very smooth, a little funky. He's not over the top. His vocals are laid back. They're cool, but they're not cool to the point where you feel like he doesn't care about what he's talking about. Just there to be with this girl and to snatch her by the pussy. Essentially just saying that it's all right that the relationship might not progress beyond this and we can just enjoy each other. Friends don't trust me because they know what I'm about. Not only is my family knocking on the door trying to peer into my business, but I'm not telling them nothing because I don't know if you're worth it either. But whatever happens, it's all right. Track number 3, Something Foreign, featuring ScHoolboy Q.
Like my life's duty is to live unruly. You should have never introduced me to the beauty.
Oh. I'm allergic to all this. I don't know about the hook.
Close your eyes, your heart available. Land on earth and cruise to Malibu. Take you down the frown, go up your face.
Okay. Yeah, pull up in something foreign. I'm sure if I give it more time, the hook will grow on me. It's not an annoying hook. It's an awkward hook because most of the time, you know, this being about relationship and then the hook being about you just pulling up in a foreign whip, the subject matter isn't as consistent as I would like it to be within this track. ScHoolboy had a pretty good feature. He's normally so aggressive, so to hear him a little bit smoother and laid back, I think it's cool. He doesn't try hard. He doesn't try to sing. He doesn't try to go over the top. He handles an R&B track well. Honestly, it doesn't sound too far off from what Mac Miller did on The Divine Feminine with this track. I honestly could picture him on this song. That piano during the hook, though, that's icing on the cake. Track number 4, Devils or D-Evils. Oh my God. I'm pregnant. I mean, wait, what? And just like that, she's pregnant. Oh. This part's a little bare, a little lifeless right here. I don't know why it's such an open stretch of time where nothing's happening. Wait, what does that mean? You're never on time, but you're never late. That's like saying I was here, I just didn't show up. Like, what do you mean? I'm gonna let it go, cause his singing is good, but what?
The company I'm keeping now. Baby, I'm not flying, but I'm floating.
I think the lyrics transition into the hook well enough, but the only thing that I don't like about that track is the fact that I think it's around like the 40 or 50 maybe minute mark or something like that. There's just this long stretch of time where nothing's happening, and the final like 30 seconds is pretty much the same thing. And I guess I wouldn't necessarily mind that if the track already wasn't like under 3 minutes itself, but since it's so short anyway, I feel like you could fit more content into a track that's shorter. I mean, even if it's a hookless kind of song, putting more content in it can make the song more enjoyable. I mean, SiR's got a great singing voice. I don't see why some of this was so much of it had so little content. Track number 5, Something New. This is the good stuff right here. I knew it. God. I gotta turn this up. So is where he's going with this that summer is in November, meaning like you're my brightness, you're my warmth, you're my light. He's saying it doesn't need to be summer for me to be hot around you. Heat me up. Oh my God, that metaphor, yes.
3 trillion kilometers to go.
Well, track number 6, I know. I'm not feeling it. I couldn't get down with that one. It's just, only thing I don't like, not only thing, I think it's got enough bass to it to kind of make it funky if his voice was a little bit more laid back, but it just sounds like Travis Scott with way too much auto-tune. The hook is a little strange. I mean, compared to the rest of the album so far, I don't really understand this hook. Track number 7, Never Home. Oh, you leaving voicemails. You leaving voicemails and text messages.
10 missed calls, I fell asleep.
Exactly. Talking all that shit.
Ain't had nothing to say at all. I know that I should call back, but let's face facts. I don't know who that bitch is in the background. I don't know when I'll make it back to the hotel. Most
Exactly.
of our the money locomotive don't stop cause she lose her top. And top working me like, see, our chain ain't linking. No, our bob ain't weaving. Should I pop ain't
Our chain ain't linking. What's great about this track is while I'm listening to it, I'm in such a peaceful state of mind, and I know exactly like what he means when you could literally be, you can have somebody screaming in your ear and be in the most zoned out place ever. I've had females screaming at me, and I'm sitting down and I'm just like thinking about music that is playing in my, like I could be playing music in my head. Like that's how peaceful I could be sometimes. I like the way he paints it as if other things take priority before this relationship. I'm never home, so what I'm working on right now is my priority. You are secondary. I know I said I was gonna do this. I know I said this was gonna be that. What you're talking about right now isn't important enough for me to prioritize it. All you're really doing is showing me where we went wrong. So the more and more you keep talking, the less and less I pay attention. The best part of this track is just how he's cool and collected, how cool and collected you can be when there's chaos around. Like I'm vibing out and enjoying this track, and there's this angry voicemail playing in the background. That lets you know the state of mind that you can be in when dealing with some of these females. Track number 8, War. Oh, it's so corny. Track number 9, Better.
Thank you, Kay.
Where are you going? Tracks have been self-explanatory so far, so let me go on to track number 10 called Dreaming of Me. Did he just do that? He's doing the thing. I know what song this is. Oh, no, God. This is smooth. I cannot believe he's using this reference. Oh. So the more and more I listen to this, the more I feel like he created his love instead of going to go find it. Like he just told his computer to go to sleep, and now on this track he's saying you're dreaming of me. Is the computer his woman? Last track, Summer in November. Why do you do this? Check me out. No, I'm just playing. Alright, so after the initial listen, how am I feeling about SiR's album November? I would say this album is very consistent. I like how SiR uses his voice to kind of soothe the audience. He's not coming off as abrasive or I would say disrespectful, trying to be sexy on this album. He's not coming on too strong. He's not forcing it. It just comes out naturally, in my opinion. He's got enough funk and consistency within his voice and within his tracks to separate himself from people like Anderson .Paak and his label mate SZA. If you were to compare him to anyone, I would say the more reasonable comparison would be probably Daniel Caesar. Even that's a stretch because I do believe SiR uses his voice in a very low-key kind of way. He doesn't explore ranges that are really outside of what I think is his comfortability. I haven't seen him explore high vocal ranges, higher pitched tones, or anything like that. If he does explore those vocal ranges, they don't really peak. They just kind of go to a higher point, stay there consistently, and then come back down. A lot of the tracks contain kind of like this basic drum, kind of a theme that shows up in multiple tracks. Although I do say the album is consistent and SiR is consistent, I wouldn't say for this to be an album that happens in space, it's very adventurous. That's a little bit weird to me. It is ironic that, you know, it takes place where he's in a spaceship and he's headed back to his destination, or I'm assuming he's headed back to Earth, talking to his AI, but the production choices aren't very adventurous. There's nothing very extravagant about this album when it comes to the production style. I'm sure there are more samples, especially in that final track. Let me know what the samples were in that final track because I feel like I've heard that one before. Got Dreaming of Me with the Dre Explosive reference. Got other tracks on here as well that contain a feature like the one with ScHoolboy Q. Even though I enjoy his feature, I'm not looking for it. I come to this album and I happen to see ScHoolboy Q connected to it, just like I do his other feature. I believe her name is Etta. These are pretty cool features on the album that you're already listening to, but if somebody were to tell me to be excited about these tracks simply because ScHoolboy or Etta was on either of them, it wouldn't make me want to listen to it more. I would say it's consistent in subject matter too. I do wish the AI's voice could have sounded a little bit more computerized, kind of like the Siri voice, a little bit like sap all emotion completely away from the AI, or if you're gonna have AI, make it a little bit more personable. I mean, I guess the simplest way to define the concept would be to say that this woman is so warm, makes him so hot inside, adds color to his life, is the brightness, is the light, is the highlight. That's why it's summer in November. I don't really know the full concept of the project. I mean, I get that SiR, I get the majority of this album is about love pretty much, but I don't know if it's more about you being the summer in my winter or him being in love with his actual creation. Like, what if he made a robot wife? On the track Better, at the end of it, he pretty much tells his AI to go to sleep, and then the very next track we get Dreaming of Me, saying he arrived at his destination early, but he doesn't want to wake her because he knows she's dreaming of him. Speaking of Better, he talks on this track as if this is something that he's designed to love him, but since he isn't treating it well, he acknowledges that someone else could or is loving it better. Never Home is a really cool track for me because it just displays this sense of being calm in chaos, or being calm and prioritizing. I like SiR's vocals, as I said before, but he stays within a very safe range. On some tracks, it portrays as if it's kind of trap funky, spacey music. I would say the worst track here is I Know, where he just, I guess, does his best Travis Scott impression. It's really vibey. I can see people playing this in mini settings, but I don't think it stands out quite enough for me to mention one track in particular that noticeably outshines the rest. I think for SiR to deliver so consistently, if he wanted this album to be cohesive, he could have added more features to give their take on this sound that he's got throughout this entire project. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think? Do you think the concept is him making love and that love being his summer in November and he fell in love with his own creation, or is this really a woman and he's going back home to go see her? I don't want that to be the one, because if we got a track here where he talks about her pretty much nagging him essentially, and then the next time you're talking about this same chick again is you're calling her your summer in November, I would assume you would treat her a lot more precious than that. So I don't know if it's the same woman. I don't know if it's the same thing. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below. SiR, November. I enjoyed the project for what it was, but that's all it was. Nothing really more than that, in my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. Did go ahead and leave a thumbs up down below. I'm curious to see what you think about the album. Share your opinions down there in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Shawn C, and I'm out. Peace.